Welcome to Define Your Path with DocV, bringing you real talk with global thought leaders to inspire hearts and minds for sustainable breakthroughs and profitability for your life and business. Here's your host, DocV.
Hi, I'm Dr. Virginia LeBlanc, also known as DocV, the Pivot Maestro. Welcome to the Define Your Path podcast for those seeking to define their own path into purposed entrepreneurship. This is a show about transforming perspectives, as well as inspiring and motivating you to think without a box by exposing you to global thought leaders, change agents, and legacy builders as my guest today, across industries on how they successfully define their path in life and business to profitability and sustainable wins. At Defining Paths, we operate in truth, transparency, and love to help you navigate the waters of your life and put you back in business. And Define Your Path podcast is no different. It all starts in the mind. Will you be the captain or the crew? Folks, today's spotlight is with Lisa Hannigan. I am so excited to have Lisa here. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Lisa is the founder of Glimmer Learning, LLC, a company specializing in working with speakers, coaches, and entrepreneurs getting started in their business who want to overcome imposter syndrome so they can feel confident to show up consistently, create more engaging content, and powerfully connect both on and off camera. She's also the host for the TV show Engage and Shine on the Win-Win Women TV, where she offers strategies on mindset, speaking, video, and so much more, further enabling you to create an impact and maximize results, all with the power of your voice. So she's also, as well as being a certified master trainer and virtual facilitator who brings 2 decades of experience, tools, and techniques to her clients, Lisa is also an international best-selling author of the book, Voices of the 21st Century, Conscious, Caring Women Who Make a Difference, where she shares her story and belief, saying, I believe we all have a spark that's ready to be lit. Oh, and with that, I will welcome Lisa to the show. Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm super excited about being here today.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to have so much fun. And I have no doubt that people are going to end this listening session inspired and just full of life. So we look forward to hearing your story and how you faced your fears to love the skin you're in and pivot into pursuing your passion and soul purpose. So, and to kind of help organize the conversation, we ask 2 questions, and then we just kind of flow and riff between those 2 questions. And the first is, how have you defined your path? And the second is, how do you help others define theirs? So, Lisa, the spotlight is yours.
Well, I love these questions, and I think they're great to start thinking about defining your path, because I don't think we're good at doing it at the beginning, you know?
No, I do know.
I think we have an idea of what we want to do. And I know that was me. You know, I worked in corporate for so long, for, over 20 years. Everything was so structured, and I thought I had everything figured out, but really it was being defined for me is what I really discovered.
Yes.
Everything was being defined for me. And I felt like I was so organized and so structured, and everything was just so. And I think I had some really great qualities and good traits. And I was very successful in my roles that and I went through everything I needed to go through. As I decided, later in life to become my own boss, what I did learn was that I needed more clarity. And that's when I really learned about what it means to define your path, your direction that you want to go, instead of having that defined for you.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I think really it's about knowing what your vision is. And I think my vision may have been a little foggy at first. I knew what I wanted to do. I was really compelled, and I felt an urgency inside. And, you mentioned when you read my bio, I shared my story in my book. And the story shares a little bit about why I started my business, which was because I felt compelled to serve and support others who needed to have this way of learning how to share their message. Mm-hmm. And that was me back then. I needed to really put clarity around, well, what is my vision and how do I want to serve others, and really hone in and focus on that. And I went down that path. But what I learned was sometimes you have to take some lefts and some rights and things that weren't planned.
Yes.
And I learned that was okay. I had to trust myself. And I think I really learned a lot about myself in the last few years. I've learned a lot more about myself than I think I did anywhere else when I was having things defined for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, a similar experience for me. Took all kinds of lefts, rights, back steps, you name it. But it was all about connecting the dots. Once I had my revelation and I decided to start. I became conscious and aware of the fact that, my path was actually, even though I thought I was choosing and I was making choices, but it was being defined by others. You said something fascinating a couple of times. You mentioned vision. And, a lot of times we don't think of vision in context to our personal lives. And that's what I hear you saying. You had that revelation that, okay, well, what is my vision, or translated, I guess, your purpose, what is your, I like to say, soul purpose in life, because that's when you start tapping into that, for me personally, that's when I started to become fulfilled. I always felt like there was something missing. I was performing on purpose and I was shining, excelling at, what I was doing, whatever I was doing. But it was just, there were constant roadblocks that I kept running into, or challenges in life that caused me to pivot, whether it was, switching career fields because life kept happening and I had to redefine myself. What are your thoughts just about that, just that whole conversation about having a personal vision and your purpose tied to your purpose?
No, I totally agree with where you're going with that, because I feel like before I was trying to keep my personal and my work life so separate. And it's really difficult to do that, because they really are connected as far as, who you are and what's driving you and the values that you have. Your value as a human being doesn't change when you cross over and walk into some office or working remotely or whatever that is. Mm-hmm. You have personal values, and they do translate into whatever work it is that you're doing. And the feelings and the emotions and the beliefs that you have, if you can find a way to kind of transform that into a doing as well, I think that you're more fulfilled. And that was a big factor into, why I felt like I wanted to do more with myself personally. And that did translate into also going into my business side and my work life. I felt like they needed to be more connected, and it felt right and good to me because they all went together with what I felt compelled to do as a person, and how I wanted to serve people.
Absolutely. Could not agree more, and for those who are in career paths or on career paths where they've, done the whole assessment and, they're still in the workplace, it's about finding that alignment, if you are going to be in the workplace, and not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. So, let's just throw that out there. But, when you're working, when you're in the workplace and you're in a job or you're in some type of chain of command where, your spirit, your soul is just feeling smothered, and you're having all of those signals that are pointing to the fact that, hey, you're not aligned with those core values you were talking about, with your beliefs, that sort of thing. So many of us force ourselves to stay in those positions because we fear our greatness, or we fear the possibility, or we fear change, when in fact the only thing guaranteed in life is change, right?
That's right.
And fear is a false sense of belief. So talk to us a little bit more about, like, how did you pivot out of corporate America, to pursue your own business? Because I did that parallelpreneur thing for a while, and then went solo.
Well, that's a pivot. I don't know if it was a pivot. It was more of it was a fight at first. It was my husband who really who pushed me. He said, you've got to stop, with this whole tug of war thing. He knew, he could see how unhappy I was and how much I was struggling. And he saw it. He was like, why are you doing this? Why are you continuing to pull yourself like this? You need to go do what it is that you want to do, that you feel compelled to do. Go do it. And I kept fighting it. It's because it's like you said, we resist change. And what is so odd is that I am a risk taker, and I do not mind change. I understand change is how we evolve. But for this one thing, because it had been ingrained in me my whole life, work. You have to work. You have to have this career. You do this. You take this step, and you do this, and that. It was how I was raised, and like this whole entrepreneur thing, and all of this was like so foreign, and it just seemed so odd. I was like, how do you even do this? And it wasn't necessarily that I didn't think I could do it. I just was like, how do you just start? And it was scary. And I'm not going to say that it wasn't scary, but it was just this whole huge leap of something so totally foreign. And it was the one change that I just kept resisting. And he finally was like, do it. And I had to trust myself that I could do this huge leap and totally just let go of everything and just do it. And I'm so glad that I have him as a support system to say, you got this, and I got you. Go do this, what you want to do, because he could see the struggle. And if he could see it, I'm sure others could see it as well.
Yes. And it's a beautiful thing. First of all, kudos to Mark. I think your husband's name is.
Yes.
Kudos to him. Because, a support system like that, particularly, for women leaders, it's so important. It's so important that you have a husband, a wife, a partner, who gets you, who understands, and who can, help. You can stand on their shoulders to stand up if you need to. And see the things in yourself that they do. So yes, kudos to him.
Yes. I am eternally grateful for him, giving me that final, like pushing me off the ledge. It's almost really like what he did. And I know it was some people want you like, oh my goodness, but I'm grateful that he did, because I don't know if I would have done the final plunge. And it shocks me because of the person that I am. And that one thing was it just seems so out of the norm for me to do. And now that I'm doing it, it's, I'm not going to say it's not difficult, and it is still a little foreign, because being in corporate for over 20 years of my life and everything being so structured and laid out. And now it's me calling the shots, and it's all, if I do something wrong, well, I can't go, oh, well, yeah, that was you. No.
But that I think that makes us stronger, and it makes us more self-aware, because, we are literally, we are being our own boss, exactly. In mind, body, soul, and business, like what I like to refer to as our boss nation.
That's right. It's right.
A beautiful thing, because you do have control and you have no one else to blame. So it requires, and it almost, I would say, causes us to reflect more, to be more self-aware, to continuously work on our personal development and transformation, because, with what we're doing as entrepreneurs, you have to be able to relate and serve and, and just continuously show up, so it's a beautiful thing. It's challenging, and it's not for the faint of heart. But
no, it is not.
Oh, gosh, I could talk about your story on and on, but I guess we need to pivot to the next question.
Okay.
So how do you help others define their path? Because what you do, I love it. You're tapping into also my performing arts background a little bit, so do tell.
Oh, well, I'm going to go back a little bit to our talk of the vision. Mm-hmm. It's really more about the clarity and what it is that they are passionate about. And it does go back to them knowing what their vision is. A lot of times I have people that will start speaking, to me, and I'll connect with them. And, they know that I coach for video and speaking. And so they're coming to me for that purpose, I want to learn how to speak better, or, I want to, I need some tips on lights, cameras, or something like that. And this is why they've come to me. However, usually we morph into a conversation, and what we really learn is we've got to take a step back. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they're really not looking and sounding good when they are ready to share their message, it's because they don't have clarity. Mm-hmm. And that is where we have to begin. Yeah. And I feel that that's what really makes my offerings a little unique, is that sure, I'll talk to you all day about lights and cameras and all that stuff, and we can do that. But that's not what I believe is the right method. I like to take a step back. I take a different approach. And I feel that that's where I really help others the most, is by helping them to gain that clarity in their voice and who they are and how they want to show up and share their message. That's how you can connect with the person on the other side of the camera, or you're talking to in person. You have to have clarity before you can share your message.
Yes. So important. So very important, and a lot of times what usually affects people and where people can connect is when you are tapping into your real life experience, and you're sharing that so they can relate, So I totally get where you're going with this and why it's important, because people, society, our educational background or training or what have you, whichever route you go, culture, it all, it's all superficial, right? And it keeps us on this plane where, this cordial plane, I would like to say, where we rarely dig deep. Unless, it's like a best friend or family or someone who knows our messy middle and all of that. So, but in coaching them, it sounds like you coach them to, to their pain points also, or just recognizing their passion, which I think normally comes from pain points, and help them identify their message so that then they can then show up and be effectual.
Right. Well, so a little inside secret as to why I call my show Engage and Shine. It's actually based on a service offering, which I came up with because I wanted to, make sure that I had a service offering where I included a deeper dive with people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I found became the most, I guess, I don't know how to word that, but that's what I did the most with my clients. Mm-hmm. And really, it's probably anything on my website that you see, I would say is what I thought I would be doing. That is what I'm actually doing, is I'm engaging with that, what I call that inner spark, helping them find it. And then they're learning to shine on whatever stage it is that they are interested in being in. That could be a boardroom for all, for all that matters. It could be a boardroom. It could be, they want to be a professional speaker. It could be on camera, whatever, wherever that is. But it starts with having clarity and knowing who you are and finding that spark.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Who is that? Shakespeare that said all the world's a stage.
That's right. Exactly.
I love it. And you're so right, because that you can be in the boardroom delivering, presenting on a topic or what have you. But if there is something inside of you that is keeping you from being confident or just bringing that, that inner confidence to even the boardroom, I mean, you're not going to be able to sell much or get your proposals won or whatever you're doing, or have your presentations received well, because people will notice that that lack of confidence, or that insecurity and just nervousness. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So your customers come to you, they obviously know what you do. They've done a little bit of research. But talk a little bit about their breakthrough moments when they have that aha, or they start to show some of that confidence or shine after, working and engaging with you.
Well, most of the time it is while we're talking about what they do. And a lot of times what I like to do is record my initial sessions with them. Mm-hmm. And just have them talk about what they do, especially ones that they don't want to do video. They don't want to do video. They don't think they can talk on the camera, but they know that they need to. And I just have conversations with them. And then later on, I'll play them back for them. And I will let them watch them talking about what they do and why they do it. So I have a lot of questions that I go through with them. And watching them watch themselves. And it's so for them to realize, look at how you light up talking about what you do and why you did it and why you got into it. So I actually have an exercise, and I've talked about it on the show before, and I've talked about it on little silly things on Instagram and stuff, but I have an exercise, and I know people do a variety of these why exercises, but that's what it's like. So I go through with them a series of questions to help them really get in touch with that, with their inner self. Mm-hmm. And it's meant for them to be able to go back and look at it anytime they're having that imposter syndrome, or they're feeling like no one wants to listen to me, or I don't have anything to offer anybody, or, well, how am I an expert in this? So you go back and look at this exercise, add to this exercise. It's going to grow with you, because that's when I feel like they're lighting up and they're really having those ahas that, you know what, I'm a rock star. I am awesome. And, those are those aha moments that then when they showed up, they really didn't think, they had that much to offer. Right. But when they're finished, they're like, oh, wow, I've got pages of stuff here that I would have never have thought of, because they're not thinking about it in the right, perspective.
Right. Yeah, they're thinking with that box, that box that I so hate.
Exactly.
They're not thinking without a box. And so it sounds like you're doing a phenomenal job in helping your clients, just be able to come out of that box and, and actually kick that box away.
Oh, yeah, there is no box.
There is no box, right? There is no box, folks. I want you to write that, put that in an affirmation, big bold letters, put it on your wall before you walk out of the door. There is no box. Think about that box, folks. It's paralyzing you and it's keeping you from walking in your soul purpose and, and just fulfilling your destiny and your reason for being here. So, Lisa, I could just talk to you, girl, for just on and on. Tell us, because I want people to know, like, who do you serve? Do you work with executives? Do you work with just, folks who are aspiring to be leaders? What's your market?
Well, my heart really is with, speakers, entrepreneurs, coaches who are starting their business and really wanting to learn, those fundamentals. But obviously anyone who's new to speaking and doing videos that really is trying to overcome that imposter syndrome, it's going to translate for them, boardroom, classroom, any of that. But my passion really lies with, those newer entrepreneurs, coaches, and speakers who are trying to get those breakthroughs so that they can powerfully connect every time they speak. Because it's important that they can do that really early on and they learn how to do it early instead of struggling and trying to figure it out and fumbling around and then possibly giving up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, anybody, for even those folks who think, oh, I'm reasonably a good speaker or what have you, or I feel confident when I'm speaking, I want you to literally step back after listening to this conversation, go back and listen to it, but step back and ask yourself the question, are you really confident, or is there an area or something that you might be struggling with that it might be worth reaching out to Lisa to have a conversation and just find out what she does, what she's all about to help you, because a lot of us wear a mask. We wear a lot of masks. We change those masks in and out. I was an expert. And, until, you take that mask off and you're owning your story and you finally realize, oh, hey, maybe I'm not so confident because I don't really know what I'm saying, or I don't know how to put this together, or, I don't know how to show up. So I want you guys to reach out to Lisa. But before we tell you how to do that, Lisa, do you have any final thoughts, words of wisdom, anything you want to share for the audience?
Well, I always like to tell everyone that really it's not complicated. I think people overthink all of this. And truly, it is about being who you are genuinely. And I know some people say, oh, don't use the word authentic, it's overused, but I do use it. It is about being authentically you when you're meeting people, when you're connecting people, when you're in front of the camera. That's how you connect and you grow your repertoire of what you know how to do and how you know how to speak, and how you get better and better at, knowing who it is that is going to resonate with you. You can't be someone else.
Absolutely. I love that. That was a perfect way to end this. You can't be someone else. So stop trying, folks. Be you. Lisa, thank you so much for being our spotlight today, lady. I have just truly enjoyed this.
Well, thank you for having me. I love being here. This is so fun.
Absolutely. And I'm sure there'll be plenty more times where we'll get together and collaborate, and my audience will get to hear you and see you. And audience, be sure to follow Lisa on social media. For those of you watching the video, the stern mother came out. Lisa, please tell our audience how to connect.
Oh, well, you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Lisa Hannigan. I'm also on Instagram as @Glimmer Learning. That's the name of my business. And I'd love some YouTube followers. I just started my YouTube channel. So that's under Glimmer Learning as well. I'm trying to grow that. So always looking for that.
Yes, absolutely, folks. So be sure to follow Lisa. You can also connect to and see her full bio and her social media connections through our Define Your Path podcast platform. So look for Lisa Hannigan's information. Folks, be sure to visit our virtual home to see what we're up to at definingpaths.online. And it's an awful lot. So we want you to come be a part of the family. I'd like to also thank our Business Innovators Radio Network, and our producer, Mike Saunders, for the amazing support and assurance that they give us every week, day in, day out. We continue to they allow us to bring you quality, life-giving, and inspiring conversations like the one today with Lisa Hannigan. So as always, I'm Doc V, the Pivot Maestro, and always your corner woman. Be true to you and define your path so that you may be your own boss in mind, body, soul, and business. We want you to come join the Boss Nation. So see you on our next episode. Thanks again, Lisa.
You've been listening to Define Your Path with Doc V. To learn how to see with true vision and define your path, visit definingpaths.online/true-vision.